What's going on, champs and champets? It's Fire Monkey here, and as you can see by the lobby right now, we actually are a Lego minifigure. I know that sounds really weird and everything else, but it is something that is available for us to do now. Of course, this is because I'm loaded into the Lego Fortnite mode a little bit early, so in today's YouTube video, while we can't actually play the mode, I will be showing you how a lot of the skins in the item shop look with Lego mode selected, and how the whole entire world situation actually exists for this. However, one thing I mentioned in the title of today's video is that there is a free emote. This emote right here is the Nana Ringer emote that you'll be able to get entirely for free. It has a Lego version and a non-Lego version of the animation, both with the Lego version having a lot of little Lego, bananas, and then the normal Fortnite version, when you're actually a normal character, having realistic bananas instead of the Lego-ified version. But to get that free emote, you need to enter the code BANANANANANA. If you can't actually type it out based on how I said it, it's in the pinned comment down below or in the description, or maybe it's on screen somewhere, and you'll be able to redeem that on the Fortnite.com/redeem website in order to get the emote entirely for free. Now, it has 25 million total uses, so 25 million people can get this emote, and it has until March 8th for you to actually redeem it, so you can go ahead and redeem it right now. You can wait a little bit, you can tell your friends about it, tell your family. Everyone's going to be able to basically get this, because within like 8 to 12 hours of it even existing, it only got to 1 million uses, and it started to slow down as less and less people knew about it, so you'll definitely be able to get it regardless of when you watch this video, assuming that Chapter 5 Season 1 is still ongoing. But with that said, that's not the only emote we're here to talk about, because we have a lot of stuff to talk about here. So before we actually talk about the cosmetics and the locker and everything else, let's go ahead and select a world to show you how this menu actually works. Now, I have a world right here that's a little bit of a placeholder. You can see the actual seed ID for the world over on the right side. This isn't anything too crazy. It's just like, hey, look, you can see the seed if you want to use it. But of course, you'll have a lot of different seed options, and of course, every single world will actually receive future content updates as they continue updating everything else. There's also a shared worlds feature where you can go ahead and have a key holder that other people can give you to their worlds and everything, so that you can access their worlds when they're not online. And that, honestly, in my opinion, is a super cool feature, because it allows you to go ahead and make a world with a lot of friends or anything. If you have a Discord server and you want to make like a Lego Fortnite world for everyone, you can go ahead and make that. You can make all your friends key holders for that world, and even if you're not playing it at a specific time, your friends can hop in and play it with you, right? Or without you or whatever else. You can join in, see all their progress later down the line, and it is just a really nice thing. It's basically like Minecraft worlds, but in Lego and, free. Now, we have a lot of options to create different worlds. I think in total, you're able to have like 7 world slots. We'll actually count it here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, you're allowed to have a total of 8 worlds. Of course, one of these I've already had claimed down here at the bottom. So, it is an interesting amount of selections you're able to do, but you're able to switch between all the different worlds, change the icons and everything. And then as we click select, you're able to choose between survival or sandbox mode. Sandbox is basically creative mode, so you're able to fly around, build whatever you want without any requirements or anything. And survival is the base game mode, where you're able to actually fight foes, go build, gather, level up your camp, and all this type of stuff in order to continue leveling and grinding out your experience. You'll also be able to change your cover image. There's a lot of different images for you to actually choose from. A lot of these are basically, the actual Fortnite Battle Royale island mixed in with the actual Lego world, because it's kind of like, you have the Battle Royale with realistic island with all the Lego pieces and everything else on top of it. So it is nice to see that you have these options to change what you want your icon to actually be, but it doesn't look like you'll be able to actually take a screenshot and actually have that as your cover image. You just have to use the predefined ones by Epic Games themselves. You'll be able to override your seed number, so you can put whatever seed you want here. You can change it. Now, if you go too high, like if I put all 9s, it actually is going to let me continue going a little bit further than I expected. Okay, that's a little odd. Oh, actually, no, I get it. Okay, so if you put like an A or something, right? If you go ahead and put like 877 and you go over the number limit, and then you put like an S, it goes to the integer limit, but you are able to put a lot of actual numbers in there, modify the actual seed to be whatever you want. I think it can be as long as you want it to be, but you can only use a specific amount of numbers. You're not allowed to actually use any letters or anything like that. So if you want an identical world to another person, ask them for their seed, you enter that, and you can play on whatever they're playing on as well. You have the option to enable or disable enemies. Now, if you disable them, it might block some elements of progression in the game, so keep that in mind, but it is something that, you're able to do if you don't want hostile creatures in your world and you just want a pure vanilla vibe and Lego experience where you can just kind of run around and have fun. You can enable or disable hunger. Now, if hunger is disabled, you'll never get hungry in the game, so you don't have to worry about that when it comes to like stamina or anything else. But it is nice to know that the option is there. You have a temperature thing, thing, which actually makes it so that you either can feel the effects of temperature or you won't feel it. Now this is important because your character can get cold and your character can get too warm depending on the temperature and everything else going on in the game, and that will affect some of your actual stats. And there are some little, buffs and everything else. You're able to keep yourself warm, keep yourself a little bit colder and everything in order to not make the temperature as effective. But if you're annoyed by that feature, you have an option to enable or disable it at will. You have the option to enable or disable the use of stamina. What this means is that if it's off, you'll be able to sprint, swim, or push objects for as long as you want. However, if stamina is on, then you'll have a limited amount of time to sprint, swim, or push objects before you have to cool down, wait a moment for it to actually regenerate. You have the option to figure out if you want to use that or not, but it is nice to see that that is there. There's an elimination option, which mentions that your player can either be eliminated or not eliminated. If it's off, you basically have God mode. You can't die. If it's on, you can die. When you die, you have the option to either drop your entire inventory upon being eliminated, which will be stored in a dropped backpack, which will also be marked on your map so you know exactly where it is, or you can go ahead and turn that off so whenever you die, you keep all your items regardless, right? It is nice to see that it's not just going to pop all the items on the ground and they're going to despawn or anything. It's actually going to drop a backpack of your items that is going to stay there until you eventually get back there and actually grab it. We have the option to enable or disable friendly creatures such as sheep spawning in the game. Now if you disable it, it might block some areas of progression, so keep that in mind. And then we have the option to enable or disable villagers in the game. These are actual LEGO NPCs that you can talk to that have their own personality. Some of them have quests and everything, and you could actually go ahead and have villagers at your campsite and have them having different jobs and roles in order to earn you more resources, but you have the option to enable or disable that whenever you want to. So in terms of all of the options, it is very nice to see. Now one question I'm getting a lot of is PvP enabled? Can I eliminate my friends? I don't know. I assume that it most likely will be, but I can't confirm without a doubt if it will or won't actually be enabled. And now, of course, since I mentioned you can't actually select your mode or anything, you can override a mode if you want to actually, decide, I don't want this world anymore, let me recreate it. Or you can go ahead and just select your world. You can delete it down here with this button, or you can just press play and then launch into it like normal. Now, it's not actually going to let me launch into it because of the fact that the mode's not actually out for another like 3 days, but that is something to keep in mind. Now, when you have the LEGO mode selected, it's not 100% finished as of yet, but when you go into the item shop and you see a cosmetic that is a LEGO formed character, it will show the LEGO icon in there. So as you can see, there's Reina right there, there's Dogo right here. Now the selectable styles aren't actual options you're able to choose or anything, and the back blings are only for, the full body versions, but it is interesting to see how we have actual icons in the locker for a lot of characters that get sold in the item shop. Now some of them don't actually have their icons as of yet, but will in the future. And even when we go down here to like locker bundles, right, you have like the full body image or whatever, but you also have like the LEGO formed images of all the characters. Some emotes also aren't supported in all characters, but maybe in the future they will be. And for example, if you click on like a locker bundle or something, you'll be able to see the LEGO variant that you have selected, and then you'll see all the other normal cosmetics in the bundle. So you won't be locked out of the item shop or anything, but you will be able to actually see and view tons of different characters. Now something to keep in mind here is if you have a character that does not have a LEGO minifigure at all, such as Ghost Rider, it will just show a default LEGO character. This means that they have no plans to really give it a LEGO form as of right now, but maybe in the future they will, because if we go over to our characters menu, and yes, you're seeing a lot of LEGO icons, and if we make it so we see unsupported characters, you'll notice that down here we actually have some collaboration characters that aren't supported, but not only that, we have some Fortnite original characters as well that aren't currently supported. As we kind of scroll through here, you can see all the different characters. Most of them are collabs or icons, but I do know that we definitely will be seeing some of these characters come to the game in the future in an actual form where you're able to use them like normal as a LEGO form, but it all requires the approval of other people. Because I've actually gotten DMs from people like Ali asking me if he had a LEGO form of his own character, which he doesn't because he's an icon in the game. So, definitely shows that there is some interest for these characters to actually get LEGO forms in the future, while as right now, stuff like the Foundation, you're not able to actually use. Now, with that said, let's actually scroll up here, and, I'm going to go ahead and hide the unsupported cosmetics once again, and talk about some interesting things to note when it comes to all these characters. I have this sorted by seasons, and as we go down here to the earliest season 1, we notice a lot of the characters have full designs. They have fully fleshed out, decals and everything else. In terms of actually, if we're going to go ahead and select one, they have, special little hats and everything, special designs, side prints, everything else going on with it. And even stuff like Bright Bomber, they have custom little icons in your locker as well that really shows off their unique little aesthetic. However, you may notice there's a little yellow wrench icon next to some of the characters, and the reason for this is because because they aren't actually finished. People with a little yellow wrench icon will get a higher detailed Lego style added to their outfit in the future of the game as they continue adding updates and all this type of stuff. So for example, my main Sergeant Green Clover looks like this. There's not even the clover hat or anything going on, but it does have that wrench, meaning it will get a better variant later down the line. And something to keep in mind going forward is every single battle pass will already have Lego versions of all those battle pass characters made right when the season launches, which is a really cool thing to see, especially with like the Fortnite crew. I assume that they're also going to do the same thing here where they're going to have them all prepared. But yeah, as we continue getting more and more updates, we are going to be seeing more and more characters getting these high quality models. And I mean, even look at this, like Phantom Meowscles already has a custom head and everything going on there, and all the characters have custom eye animations, custom mouth animations, everything else as they continue getting updates. Now, something I do notice here, some characters like Festival Phaedra don't actually have this wrench despite being the lower quality model. I'm unsure if this means that they just forgot to add the wrench to some of the characters, or if they're just going to keep some characters in low quality models, you know, depending on the popularity or lack thereof of certain characters. But it is a little odd to see some of the more popular characters like Breezabelle having, you know, like more of a placeholder model going on with his shirt design and everything without having that actual model mention or whatever of it being low quality, while other characters like Sergeant Green Clover have the low quality model and mention that it will be higher quality later down the line. So there's a potential possibility that there's going to be even more characters that get updated over time that don't currently have that little wrench being like, hey, we're not done fixing up this character to be a higher quality, but of course that's just something to keep in mind here. Now of course I'm going to go ahead and select Sergeant Green Clover once again, and we're going to go to the emote tab. You can't use back blings, pickaxes, contrails, gliders, or anything like that, but there are a lot of emotes you're available to use. Now in terms of all the emotes I have 126 I can use, and there's 1,573 cosmetics I can't use. That includes things such as toys, sprays, emojis, synced emotes, you know, all that type of stuff. So while that number sounds like a lot, it's actually not in retrospect. Now in terms of actual icon emotes, most of them aren't supported, with the only icon emote currently being supported being Smeeze. So if you're someone who wanted to hit the gritty in Fortnite, you're going to be unable to do so in Lego Fortnite, but you will be able to use certain icon emotes, and it shows that they can bring icon things to Lego Fortnite later down the line. So it's really just going to be a waiting game of seeing what does and doesn't get supported. They will also be adding a lot of custom little props here and there for certain emotes like the Boomin' emote, so it is really cool to see how they have a lot of the facial animations and stuff fixed up for every single character, how they have special little, you know, gadgets and everything for some of them, and even stuff like the brand new emote right here, you have more of like there's the blue lines you wouldn't typically see from Lego being enabled with all the custom animations of a Lego character. If we go over here to like the Llama Kadabra emote right here, you can see how even though it's a little bit higher up in the sky, you have a custom wand, you have custom sparkles, you have all the different little llamas spawning in. Now the effects are pretty big because the effect colors, as far as I'm aware, are more sized for the normal version of the emote with the normal body, but of course at the same time it is super duper cool to see how they are supporting this, and they will be adding support for more skins, more emotes, all that type of stuff as Lego Fortnite continues to get new updates. I'm kind of going through here and kind of showing you some of the main ones that have new little props and things going on for them, because I think it's really cool to see how they are activating all these different props and everything into the Lego Fortnite mode in order to make it so it's not just the character being fully animated, but it's all the other stuff as well. True Heart, for example, also has the sparkle effects and even a little thing that pops up in the sky whenever, you know, the emote's going on, so that's really cool to see. Actually, I don't think it's this one, I think it's another one. Yeah, you see the little heart decals going on there? It has that effect despite this being the Lego version. The Boots and Cats emote actually has a microphone, and I mean, this is a really good one to see those facial expressions going on the characters. You know, if we go over here to like the 2 + 2 = 4, the whole entire calculated emote, it shows that properly. You'll be able to do synced emotes like hugging your friends, or for example, the double up emote. There is a lot of possibilities that are available for you, and it's only going to continue allowing more and more of your old emotes to be usable in this mode as Lego Fortnite continues to get updates, because that's the main thing to keep in mind here. These are new live service games. Lego Fortnite, Fortnite Festival, and Rocket Racing are all going to continue to be on their own schedules with their own updates, while Battle Royale is simultaneously getting updates as well. Now if we go over here, we also have some stuff like the Pandemonium emote right here, which I'll go ahead and select so we can kind of, you know, rotate a little bit, all with the Lego form and everything else. We have some emotes like the Ring It On emote, which also has little Lego form stuff, Sea Shanties or Shanty with a Squad, which has Lego form stuff as well, and it's really just crazy to see how much effort is being put into this and how animated the characters really are. I think that's the wild thing for me, is just how animated they managed to make all these different pieces for Lego Lego characters and turn it into something that is really unique. I mean, even with like the Rubik's Cube, it is a 3-layer cube. I don't know how you're supposed to not solve it, but it's there, you're able to use it, and it's goofy, and I love it, right? For example, the cap kick emote as well, both of the variants of failing it or actually succeeding and kicking it, both actually work here. I'll try getting both the variants for you guys to see. All right, we failed that one. Let's see if we can do it again, but this is going to be something that we continue seeing them update more and more as the seasons progress, because that is really what they're kind of here for. And I'm really just not going to be able to kick the cap properly in this recording. Please, I want to show the other animation. It doesn't want me to show it. Okay, you know what? We're over here throwing hands with the cap kicking. I might have to go to the emote over to the side of it to show the other emote properly doing it. Okay, yeah, look at this. So burpee, for example, you have the normal burpee little like emote right there, but you also have the variant where you just kind of burp if it wants to do the other variant. There we go. See? So you have all those different options available to you, and emotes that have different variations also have that. And there we go. The cap's been properly kicked that time. So it is nice to see that that is working. Other emotes are somewhat glitched, like focus, for example. Whenever the actual text on top actually disappears, it does loop the emote in a very weird way. Now that'll be something they'll fix in the future, but for right now it is something to keep in mind. Dab stand, for example, is definitely restricted by the Lego pieces, but it's still supported. You have a lot of craziness that just comes from this, right? Even like rage quit, for example, you have the yellow controller in Lego form, and it's just really cool to see how they've put all this stuff together. But one of the most unique things I think they've done is the rock paper scissors emote. When you use this, it will actually physically show a rock, a paper, or scissors, meaning whenever you do this in your lobbies, you can actually have proper rock, paper, scissors battles in Lego mode with all the different variants. I'll go ahead and let the emote actually loop a lot of times here so you can see all the different variants, because I do think it does like 4 rock, 4 paper, then 4 scissors. Yep, as you can see, there's paper right there, but it is really cool to see how much effort's being put into this mode and how almost every skin, right, you know, minus like collaborations and all the type of stuff, is supported, and how they're going to continue updating it over time. And as you saw right there was paper. You have other emotes like staff stand, for example, which has a little bit of that effect going on with it. You have take 14, which is, you know, the little clapboard or whatever else, which for me, you know, I kind of think of it like it looks like a lighter, but hey, it's there. You have stuff like Shaolin sip, which is very interesting. You know, it has the steam and everything else going on with it. But if we go over here to the sharpshooter, it uses bananas. That is right. It doesn't do like the pew pew with your fingers. It is sharpshooter with bananas, and I think that is just goofy. It's a little Lego effect or something that you wouldn't have actually expected, but is still there. If you do stuff like the true love emote, you know, it does a little heart with the Lego hands and has a realistic little heart you actually pop, and that's a little nice thing to see, you know, that it has somewhat of a Lego form but also not. For take a bow, for example, it actually does show a proper rainbow and everything, and if we kind of like rotate it around, you can see that it is kind of like a 3D rainbow still. It's not Legoified, but it is still smaller to match the Lego hand links. But overall, you know, everything is supported for this mode, and they have so much stuff actually being worked on with more updates coming down the line. So it is going to be super exciting to actually see this release, and I probably will end up playing this a lot whenever I'm doing background footage for stuff, right? And even if you're someone who owns OG emotes like Tidy is supported. So technically you could do the Snoop Dogg emote in Fortnite Lego, and I think that is just ridiculous, but also funny at the same time. So with that said, hope you champs and champions enjoy this little overview of all the new things going on with the actual Fortnite Lego mode. A lot of news regarding how it's going to work and everything else. And as a final little bit of news, or I guess, you know, a final little showcase here, I'll showcase some more of the characters to you guys. We have Tomato Head, who has a custom head. We have Cuddle Team Leader, which that's a fan favorite, of course. Other characters like Wukong right here, which has some custom effects. We have a rogue agent. We have a lot of characters that are fully finished and fully prepared for this mode. And even though variants aren't selectable as of right now, it is a possibility that in the future they will be adding variant support. But at least for right now, it appears that whatever the Lego version of your skin is what you kind of got to deal with, right? For example, if you look at Drift, we have one of the Drift variants, but we can't use the mask off variant of Drift, even though they do have a mask off design kind of in the works, as you can see by Snowdrift. So it is something that we'll most likely hear more and more about and see more stuff added to as the season progresses and as we start getting more and more updates to the mode, because each of these are their own live service modes that will continue to get more and more content added to it. So until next time, I hope champs and champions enjoyed today's YouTube video. If you did, consider subscribing and support the content I create, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with even more juicy Fortnite news. Peace out.